Welcome back to NOWDIVAS, your go-to channel for all things ServiceNow. Today, we are diving into an exciting topic, integrating Snowflake with ServiceNow using REST API, OAuth 2.0, and the scheduled job. I have prepared a detailed document for this demo, which I will be sharing soon. But for now, let's talk about the integration steps and how this process works. Let's get started with the integration process. I will be following the steps outlined in the document from user creation, setting up the integration in Snowflake, creating the REST message and OAuth configuration, and finally implementing a scheduled job in our ServiceNow instance. At the end, we will test the integration to ensure everything works perfectly. So let's get started. And as per the document, our first step is to create the user and the configuration. So these are the queries which you need to execute it. I will be sharing the queries in the description box below, or I will be sharing this document too, which you can make use of it to to create the user. So for my demo purposes or for this video, I have already created the user called ServiceNow underscore user, and this is the password. So in case if you are new to the integration or you want to do it yourself or for the testing purposes, yes, you will have to run all these queries. Otherwise, if you have a dedicated Snowflake admin or a developer, they can do it. They can create a user and they can grant the access to your database and to the schema and also to the warehouse, and also you can create a separate rules for the integrations. And these are the integrations which I have the rules which I have created, called a ServiceNow metadata role, ServiceNow integration role. And you can grant the warehouse access to the ServiceNow, and also you can make this as a default warehouse for this particular user, and then you will have to grant the access to the database and the schema. So if you have a dedicated admin, say a Snowflake admin or a developer, they can do everything. So I have already created everything from my end before I started this demo, and this is the database which I have created called ServiceNow, and I have created a table also under this database, which I will be using for my use case. So I have a couple of queries here too, which I have pasted on the sticky notes. And let's go ahead and see what all the tables we have under this ServiceNow database. Sorry, show data schema. Sorry, that is ServiceNow. And I'm just going to select my database and I'm going to run it, and you can see this is the table which I have created, which is called CMDB enrichment data. And let's go ahead and get the table information or the description of this particular database, and these are the columns and the data types. So for my use case, as I mentioned earlier, I have already created the table, the database, and I have already created the user. So in case if you want to create everything, so here is how you need to create it, and you need to execute this queries. So if you have a Snowflake admin, so you need not to worry about it. So you can create the database as your database name, and you can use the database, and you can create the schema and everything. And also this is the warehouse which I was talking about, which is called a compute underscore WH. And let's come back to here. And so our first step is already done. So I'm sorry, I'm not running all these things in the today's demo or for this video. So I wanted to do a quick video. I want to show you how we set up everything on the ServiceNow instance. And I have created a new integration setup called Integration My Service Client on the Snowflake. And let me show you guys how does that looks like integrations. So this is the integration which I have created. So it is called My ServiceNow client, and the type is OAuth, and this was created on 14th. And these are the details what you have to give it. So you can just copy and paste it. And also all these informations are actually available on the ServiceNow SQL API. You can go in there and you can check it out. I will be leaving that API link in the description box below. So this is the custom one, the refresh token, the OAuth refresh token, and I have just given the pre-authorized role as ServiceNow underscore metadata role and the integration role. And I have blocked these things for this particular user. And let's go ahead and get the information about this integration. So this is the query which you need to run, describe security my integrations, and this is how you can see this is our OAuth endpoint, the token, and this is our client ID. So these information, we will be using it on our instance. So please run this query, get the information, and then copy it and paste it somewhere safely for your future use. So this is done, and then we have to retrieve the stored client secret. So in order to get that, this command or the query which you need to use it. So here you can see that this gives you client secret, and this is the client secret, and paste it somewhere safely. And whatever the user I created, the ServiceNow user, so I have given just a generic password for this demo. So if you are creating something brand new, then please give a very high security or a very strong password. And also your admin or your Snowflake admin can create one for you guys. So after this, our side, whatever was needed from the Snowflake is actually done. So let's go ahead with the step three, which is the REST message and setting up of OAuth 2.0. So if you could come down here and you need to create a new OAuth 2.0. For that, come to the ServiceNow application registry and click on new and just select connect new OAuth provider. So you'll have to give the authorization URL, the token URL, the name. You can give a unique name for your application registry and the client ID and the client secret, and select the default grant type as the authorization type. Let me show you guys what I have created. So you will get all this information from that description of the integrations, which gave it in a table format, and you might have stored it somewhere. So get those details and then copy it, and do not change anything on the redirect URL. The ServiceNow has actually created one for us. Leave it as it is. Just put in the client secret ID. And in case if you guys don't know how to create the OAuth provider, then there are a lot of documents and also the videos available on the YouTube where you can go ahead and get more knowledge about it. And ServiceNow has actually created us a OAuth entity profile. The grant type is actually authorization code. So our step three is it's done, wherein we have created a OAuth, and our next step is to create a REST message, which is the outbound REST message. So you need to click on new, and you need to give a unique ID and then give the endpoint. So your endpoint is nothing but your login URL. So you can get this information from your admin too, like your admin, or you can just check the API documentation. And let me just get that URL for that, the one how it looks like. So I'm just going to get that information. I had saved it on my WhatsApp somewhere. So I just use that, and it's actually your instance name and followed by the statement. Let me just quickly get that, and here we go. This is how it looks like. So this is your instance name, snowflake.computing. So if you hit enter, you will get your logon screen. So the one you used to log in. So this information, you will be receiving it via an email once you get an account in the Snowflake. In case if you're stuck somewhere, please check out with what is that, your admin or somebody, and you have to select the authentication type as OAuth 2.0 and select your entity and then get the OAuth token. So let me just quickly show you guys the one I have already created. So this is the one have given the name as the OAuth Snowflake data ingestion, and this is the endpoint whatever I shown you guys, and you need to add in this information, the last piece like API v2 statements. You will get this, of course, from the API document, which will be available in the short description. So you'll have to get the OAuth token, just click on it and just type in your username and the password, the one you actually created earlier. And you can just click on sign in, and you get the new OAuth token. You can see that it has been generated. And then we need to create a new HTTP method, which is called a post method. For that, you can just come here, give a name, and just select the post, and it is going to be the same endpoint. And you might be wondering why I have used the post instead of the get. I have clearly mentioned it here. It's a self-explanatory, but I can just tell you guys. So the Snowflake API requires the SQL query to be sent in the request body, which is only possible with the post method. So get method does not support sending the request body. So as you can see, this is the redirect. I'm sorry, let me scroll down. This is the body which I have used it, or the content, the request body. So I have pasted it here. So this again, I got this information from the API documentation. I can just show you guys how it looks like. So accept, give the HTTP request as accept as application JSON, the content type is application JSON, and just put in the content here, the request body. So what we are going to do is we are going to get all the information from this particular table, the one we had created earlier. In case, as per your requirement, the table name may change, and you need to get the statement or the SQL statement and then put it in here and add the role and the database, the public and the warehouse and everything. Once it is done, go ahead and save it. And we already have a OAuth token, so no need to do that. As you can see, when I tested it out, I got a lot of messages, around 17 tests, and there were a lot of failures or unsuccessful messages. So you might come across this 422 message in case if you haven't granted the access to the warehouse, the whatever the warehouse where you are using that. In our case, it is called compute underscore w. Make sure that whatever the particular user has got that access to that warehouse, and that warehouse has been set as a default warehouse for that user. I'm sorry, I'm just rushing up. And also, this was the another message like if that particular role is not granted to that user, you might get this error message. So make sure you work with your service with your Snowflake admin or a developer to avoid all these messages. And then once it is done, let's go ahead and click on test. And if you see that we have got a status message as 200, and we have got all the information from the database or from the Snowflake, and it is in this format, and it is stored under data array called a data. So it has got all the information, so the server name and also the dates. And if you could see this dates, these are actually in a different format. I think it is called Enoch. I don't know if I pronounced it, sorry, Epoch. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly or if I mispronounced it. So the datas are actually are in the Epoch or Epoch format. So we will be converting this data as per the ServiceNow date format. So I will talk about this later. And if you scroll up, you can see all these messages, whatever we will get it, the HTTP status code messages, which will be useful for you guys to troubleshoot it. And this is the API document which I was actually talking about, which is called the Snowflake API. And then you can just click on Introduction to Snowflake API and you get all the information here. So the one I was talking about is the Snowflake SQL API reference, and you can see this is how the your post method of your endpoint should look like. And also this is the sample response. Sorry, and also let me show you guys the errors, whatever you have everything here. For the get, you have everything. This is how the response looks like, and this is the post, and this is your response, and also what are the request headers and everything. Just go through this document, you will find all the details. And this is how I had used my response body. So I just modified few things and I have used it. So I think our the step, the create the REST message setup and also the OAuth token is ready. And let's go ahead with our final step before we test it out. It's called schedule job implementation. So here I didn't want to use the flow or the business rules or anything else. So, but I wanted to use the schedule job instead. So the schedule job will run every day at 2 a.m. and it will execute this or trigger this REST message, and it will pull in all the details like all the column details. But here I am actually looking only for the warranty expiration and the purchase date. And I will be parsing that response data and I will be updating the CMDB Win server table. So this is the script which I have used it, and here I will be converting the date to whatever I spoke earlier, which was in the epoch format. And let me show you guys how I have created one. And in case if you guys don't know how to create a schedule job, you can just go to the YouTube or the product documentations or this community, and then you can find it. So I think mine was Snowflake. So this is the unique name which I have given this for my demo, or this is actually a PDI. So I have just set it to daily, and this is the 00, which is at 12 a.m. And this is the script. And it's a pretty simple script, and we will be executing this REST message and then fetching the response body, and then I'm parsing it. And then if you could see it, I am new glide date and time. So I'm actually converting the date here and then converting the date as to glide date and time. And then we are going to update it. So I had already run this script, and I can show you guys how my Windows server looks like. And you can see that. So all this information, it is already there. So I would like to let me go ahead and do one thing, modify the dates, the purchase date and the expiry date, and let's see if our implementation is successful or not. So I have the query here. Let me just get that query to test it out for changing the dates. Oh, I think I have not mentioned it here, which I had previously gathered it. That's sad. Never mind. Let me do some changes on my instance so that it removes the warranty and the purchase dates. Please. So I'm going to change the table data itself, the Snowflake data. As you can see, these are the current data. So I'm going to run this query and I am going to modify the data. So yes, so the number of rows were 8, and I am just going to select this, and you can see that this is 2027, and 2024. So let's come back to our instance, and you can see that the data, whatever is there, it's actually different from whatever the data we have it on our Snowflake instance. So let's go ahead, and I am just going to bring this screen over here so that you can see the real-time data here. So this is how it looks like and blah 2026. And for this one, for the first one, the data is actually 2027 and the purchase date is 2023. Let's go ahead and run our schedule job. This is the schedule job. I'm just going to click on execute. So I've already clicked on execute. Let's check in the real time how the data looks like. Yes, and you can see indeed the date has been changed accordingly. OWASD01 here, the warranty is 2027-01-15, and you can see that this is the correct warranty expiration and the purchase date. So you can just compare it, and for me, everything looks good. So that's it, guys. I don't know. I just love this integration because I learned so much about the SQL and also the Snowflake. And if you want to know everything in detail, I will be sharing the document too on my LinkedIn and also on the ServiceNow community. You can go through that document. And thanks for watching. And if you found this video helpful, do not forget to share, subscribe to NowDivas for more ServiceNow tips and tricks and for the integration process. And you can check out my previous integration process where I would have created the OAuth and also the REST message from the scratch. So I believe you learned how to integrate Snowflake with ServiceNow using the REST API, OAuth 2.0, and a scheduled job. And take care. Bye bye. And I will see you in the next video.